Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with Algo. Today's hosts are Ben Rohorek and Hassan Chowdhury, and both of them are solutions architects. Please know that both of them are presenting today, so you will hear them, and you will enjoy this wonderful presentation. And if anyone has any questions, please don't forget, you've got a question box and submit those in that question box. And Ben and Hassan will be able to answer them at the end of today's presentation. Hey, Ben, hey, Hassan, thank you guys so much for being with us this morning, taking the time and creating this presentation for us. We are looking forward to it. Please go ahead and take it on over.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Julie. And I'll just do a quick hello. I'm Ben, like I said, Solutions Architect with Algo Communications. Hassan?
Oh, hello, everyone. My name is Hassan Chowdhury. I'm also a Solutions Architect. It's a pleasure to be here.
Today, what we want to make sure everyone feels good about is just, who is Algo, what we have currently coming up, and, our products and what sets us apart from others, especially in the education vertical, which we're seeing so much action in with the advent of Alyssa's Law and other things coming up where now there are reasons for schools to look at updating to IP and just making sure that they have all of the right products in line with what fits, because this is a booming vertical. We want to make sure that everything is applied the right way with our product set. Go ahead, Hassan. Like I said, the Algo lineup, success in education, but we also want to discuss new stuff coming up in 2024, as well as our design services. So something where we as solutions architects actually help with building plans and making sure that everything is laid out according to the standards of our speakers. And then we'll also discuss, although it's not on here, a bit about our integrator program at the end as well. Now, Algo itself is actually a North American company. Everything's manufactured in North America, and we build IP endpoints. We used to be an OEM manufacturer for Nortel, Northstar networks, and everything that we build is SIP compliant, almost like a third-party phone with most major systems. We do make a few different things in a few different areas. So the basic, which is speakers, the bread and butter of what we do, and also moving into IP intercoms, paging adapters, which bridges the legacy systems and hardware and brings them up to an IP standard, as well as some of our really cool IP visual alerters. All of these things we're going to be discussing in more detail, so I just wanted to give you the rough overview of them. And so we start with, say, our IP display speakers. These are newer, only in about a year. They're actually the most successful product that Algo has ever launched. And this is just looking at them. This is an 8410. The 8420 is dual-sided, and it really does bring together the best of visual notification as well as speaker, providing wideband audio, so that's 7.22, giving you very legible, up to 90% legible audio from just human speech. We are also one of the only manufacturers for product natively compatible with any of our devices with Teams. And we're bringing up ADMP, which, although in its early stages, is a cloud-based management platform for our product. We're going to talk a bit more about these speakers. They are ideal for classrooms, reading rooms, staff rooms, and say the 8410, so that's a single pane, put it on the wall type of speaker. If you look, it has the screen. Yes, they can have scrolling text, slides, clocks, and that can be either analog or digital. I know that in Quebec, there's certain things about having analog there. So even if it's an LCD screen, you can have that analog clock going. And then also the dual-sided speaker, which you'll see mounted in hallways. And that covers a fairly decent range. You can see 40 feet in either direction for very good legible speech. So often replacing the need for some of those ceiling mount speakers. and enhancing that communication with strobe lights and other visual features. The core features of all of our IP displays will be PoE Plus or PoE Plus Plus, depending on if it's that dual-sided speaker, to run a strobe, proper speaker, and LCD screen. That PoE Plus Plus is not standard in a lot of areas, but can be simply worked around with an injector. The single side does work with PoE Plus. It's just a slightly dim screen and a little bit less volume coming out just because of the wattage and what's actually going into the speaker. They are recommended PoE++ for both, and you do need PoE++ some way for the dual-sided speaker. Like we said, though, they are wideband audio, so 90% of intelligible speech is captured within that range. They're multicast capable, network configurable, and secure SIP, so TLS 1.2, of course, being on there, and being an open device available with very many systems, as we're going to get into. Now, that Algo device management solution, the ADMP or the 8300, we have two ways to go. That 8300 that you see in the middle is the controller device that allows you to see all of our devices on the network for that one-time cost. They can have it, and so long as they're attached to that 8300, it'll pull all the devices that are Algo, give you a single pane view of their IPs and where they are. And through those IPs, you can access them. So our device is, I guess what you would call a headless system. We don't use servers. We don't have any real proprietary software or hardware required to run them. They utilize your network to connect to a GUI individually, and then you can manage those devices, adjusting volumes and driving outcomes via its web interface. Now, we've started on development, and it's going quite well for ADMP. So this is an online cloud-based monitoring. So it's unlike the 8300. This is likely going to have an ongoing cost, so not a one-time fee. This is still being worked on, but it gives people the option to manage multiple sites, tag devices, what's online on, online offline, and even giving the ability to determine, hey, is my speaker down, or getting a notification for that speaker being down. So there's a lot of power there, and especially for larger deployments, we also see the use of ZTP, adding in MAC addresses and then having some pre-configured files. So we know that these speakers are all zone 1, 2, 3, right? We can have that file ready, pre-programmed, the devices turn on, talk to our server, get that file, and you're running with minimal time spent on the actual configuring of the devices. Now, yeah, so Q3, sorry guys, Q3 2023, we are able to download config files, syslog files, and we do have multi-user support for sign-on, and some back online emails coming in. Future state for this, we are going to be looking at the ability, I think it's going into beta right now, to configure the device through ADMP, so selecting it, and just a pinhole way of actually managing the device through this platform. So it'll give you that full management, almost like accessing the device on that local network, as well as downloading all your files and syslogs every week. So helping with that level of management and other things as requested. The roadmap is pretty set for the first 2 quarters, but if there's any features you guys want to see, go ahead and send us a message. We like to listen to people, and really this and anything else has been the result of listening to what people need. We work in a few different areas, Algo. You can see us in healthcare, education, manufacturing being the areas I've seen and worked with the most, but you're going to find us also in logistics, transportation, hospitality, anywhere that's running an IP-based network and just wants to start getting into IP, so just utilizing our endpoints to drive outcomes individually, or larger deployments where these devices can interconnect and create a very positive workflow for any work environment. We see a lot being done in different places, but the main one again being education, and that's the one we'd want to focus on today. And actually Hassan is going to take us through that.
Thanks, Ben. And as you mentioned, we provide solutions for all verticals and industries, as paging and emergency notifications are of a high importance and required in many areas. So today I will focus on Algo's applications in the education sector, as we have seen rapid growth over the past little while due to the added requirements, due to the introduction of something called Alyssa's Law in the US. For those of you who haven't heard of Alyssa's Law, which has been passed in 5 states and also pending in another 5, is a legislation aimed to enhance school safety. This law mandates that all public elementary and secondary school buildings have panic alarms or emergency notifications that directly alert local law enforcement. Its aim is to provide added security and rapid response in all schools of those states. So I want to delve a little deeper into how we fit into the market in terms of education space as a whole. Algo is positioned at the intersection of these 3 important areas. First, there must be a critical need. In this case, we have the requirement of not only day-to-day paging in schools, but bell schedules, emergency notifications, and as I mentioned, since Alyssa's Law, the requirement for schools to have immediate contact with the emergency services in cases where the security of the school is under threat. This could be in the form of a lockdown and simultaneous alert to authorities due to an active shooter, for example. Secondly, there are many different UC platforms implemented, and a solution needs to be able to work with all of them. Algo fits into this ecosystem by bridging this need with compatibility with over 60 UC platforms, allowing Algo to integrate with most platforms as schools upgrade and migrate the technology stack, essentially future-proofing the solution. Finally, as more and more schools transitioning to IP for their voice, data, and security, Algo's quick and easy deployment that is not only powerful but feature-rich doesn't require anything other than a network to function in, as each device has the features embedded right there, without the need, as Ben mentioned, for any servers or headends. So before I talk about our devices, I want to break down the typical school deployment into the different areas that we see. These solutions are usually within the classrooms, down hallways or corridors, and indoor public spaces, and outdoors. The ability to administer and monitor these solutions is also a very important part of the school deployment, and Algo solutions are easy and intuitive to use. Okay, so for the classroom, the Algo 8410 is a very popular device incorporating a 15.6-inch LCD screen, 8-watt speaker, and a multicolored strobe into a sleek and solid design. So we can replace the need of wall clocks, as the 8410 can display the real-time date and time, which is synchronized to an NTP server. When it's idle, it can display customized slides for announcement schedules and emergency alerts. Its array speakers produce wideband audio, as Ben mentioned, to announce live pages or emergency alerts clearly and succinctly. And the built-in strobe can be programmed to flash various colors depending on the use case. So classrooms can be quiet, but they can also be extremely noisy. So to deal with these types of environments, our devices have an ambient noise response feature. This feature can be set with thresholds to be quieter when the room is quiet and louder when the classroom is packed with kids. So we use the embedded microphone to monitor the ambient sound, and we can adjust the volume automatically as required. All of our speakers have a relay input that can be paired with one of our accessory devices to add more functionality. So for example, in the case of Alyssa's Law, the Algo 1203 call switch, which can be mounted on the wall or under a teacher's desk, can be used to trigger the 8410 to call out to the emergency services. It can simultaneously open up an audio path so that the authorities can hear in real time what is happening in the vicinity of the speaker. Our devices can be registered as SIP endpoints that have the ability to make and receive calls through the UC system, and can also act as a two-way speakerphone with the administration office, for example. An alternative to the 8410 is the 8190S, which in many ways is the predecessor of the 8410, but is still a very popular device. It incorporates dual strobes and a digital LCD screen to display the time, and it comes with an embedded microphone as well, which is as well as a powerful speaker array and a built-in button to initiate pages, silent alarms, or alerts, without the need for an external button. This has the same wideband audio as all of our speakers and has a 4-element speaker array, which can output up to 98 decibels for those loud classrooms. It has a 1 GB onboard memory, similar to all of our other products, which allow you to store onboard bells, tones, and notifications. For larger classrooms that also require ceiling speakers, where our IP display speakers are not deployed, our line of IP ceiling speakers, in this case the 8188, can be leveraged to allow for the same audio alerting and two-way paging features as the rest of the Algo line. It's a PoE-powered device with a built-in microphone, as all the other speakers, and can allow two-way communication to the administration office and adjust volume based on the ambient noise. It's a very robust and feature-rich speaker. So not only do we do audio alerts, but we can also do visual alerting. And for the classroom where visual alerting is required, the Algo 8138 multicolored strobe can be deployed, which can augment the audio alerting. It outputs intense visual color alerts that can be effective in conveying emergency situations. So for the hallways, we can leverage the 8420. It has the same functionality that was described in the 8410, but it's double. It's dual-sided display, dual-sided speaker, dual-sided strobe, and it's powered by a 60-watt PoE connection. The display speaker can project audio and visual for 40 feet in both directions. It will drastically reduce the number of ceiling speakers needed to cover that hallway space. It comes with a mount that can be placed, as you see in the picture, on the side, which can be mounted in the corridor, or even the mount can be placed on the top to be ceiling mounted in the middle of the hallway. So for hallways, we took the technology in our 8188 IP speaker and we added what we call satellite technology to produce an IP PoE plus speaker, the 8198. It's a 16-watt host speaker and the ability for one PoE drop to power up to 4 speakers, so 3 additional speakers, which are the 1198. The 1198 are actually cheaper than the 8198, so it's more cost effective to allow for providing audio in these corridor locations. It can also be used for larger halls and larger public spaces as well as hallways. So solutions for outdoor. Algo offers rugged outdoor rated devices such as the 8186 IP horn speaker. It produces up to 116 decibels of output and can go up to 16 watt. It's an IP66 rated device and can withstand wet weather conditions. But stay tuned for the IP69 rated version, which Ben will talk about shortly. Now, schools also need secure entry. So for secure entry, to ensure the school visitors are properly validated, the 8201 IP intercom can be used on its own for two-way communication or with a door controller. This lets the admin office or security desk unlock the doors from their phone keypads or from a relay button under the desk. Using the door controller in conjunction with the rest of the product suite can enable full lockdown capability, securing all doors when an alert is initiated. So obviously schools have schedules and bells that go off at certain times during the day. The Algo 8301 paging adapter can be used to provide this capability. The devices will be typically locked in the back closet, but they are connected to the network. And because they're connected to the network, they can also be accessed via the web GUI, or it can also connect via SIP extension to the UC platform of the VoIP system. It's usually kind of a set it and forget it device, but it can also be modified and updated as the scheduler requires. It can multicast the bell schedule to all devices that are multicast enabled and drive announcements through IP multicast enabled phones as well. So phones such as the Yealink phones, for example, or polyphones. So finally, as Ben mentioned as well, Algo has a couple of solutions for admin and security to monitor the system for any faults or disconnections. The cloud-based ADMP and the on-premise Algo 8300 controller, which is the blue box that you see. They can be deployed together or separately, and can monitor each and every Algo device connected to the LAN. The ADMP, by the way, can also monitor devices in multiple sites as well. So as you can see, Algo provides a well-rounded, robust suite of products that are accessible over the network, either directly or via multicast. We aim to make any paging or emergency alerting scenario not only effective on the premise, but easy to integrate with button accessories to trigger alerts directly to emergency services or peace apps. Algo is an easy-to-use, reliable, and feature-rich device ecosystem that leverages the network to produce a scalable and effective paging and emergency alert system. We enable that compliance with Alyssa's law, as I mentioned, for public schools in the States. Thank you for your time. I will now pass it back over to Ben, who will talk more about the upcoming products in 2024. Ben, over to you.
Awesome. Okay. Hi again, guys. So just kind of a recap there. Algo products will work in the classroom, but don't just take it as just a classroom setting. Anywhere that you could put a horn speaker in a louder environment, or anywhere you need to maximize the amount of IP drops you have using satellite technology, Algo works in a lot of different places. And what I really love, again, is that when you're looking at doing these installs, you do not have to do them all in. You could do things like make use of existing 70-volt systems via the 8301, checking to make sure we're compatible with it. Having the 8301 work with IP, send pages out to that old paging system, and then start introducing your IP infrastructure as needed. No one has time to tear everything down at once and do it all at once. And if you do, great. Doing it all at once is just fine, but that's not the only option you have. Now, as we go into the new products, these were all, again, built off of needs. And one of the major things we're going to talk about at the end is our roles as solutions architects, and where we're going to be able to come in and help you guys with clients, or just figuring out what exactly fits the need of anyone that you talk to or anyone that we need to work with. Go ahead, Hassan. One thing that came up was very old systems that required one of those 2500 series phones with an FXO port that pretty much had to have an off-hook phone, like to do a page. Like, for example, you might have a paging system that, you know, everything else is IP, but the paging systems is a few phones sitting down directly connected to the system that you pick up and page from. Those were not compatible with the 8301. So now we have the 8305 coming out. The prototypes are in, and it's looking to be released in the next, hopefully, month or two, just for official sale. And it has an FXO port to help replace or help, I suppose, mimic that off-hook connection. This device is hopefully going to fulfill some areas where you may have had issues with adapting older systems before. But that's not as fun as what we're going to see with the next speaker, the 80, or I guess the next part, which is the clock. So the 8401, 8402 IP clocks, these, if you've seen the 8190s, 8190Ss, it's just like the top part of the clock on that speaker device. It allows for NPP time. So when you're using network time protocol, you don't have to have people constantly adjust your time or play around with it. It's all going to be based off network. We should be hopefully seeing these in the next couple quarters as well, or the next couple months as well. The 8197, which Hassan alluded to, was our weather hardened speaker. This is an IP69. So there were issues with the 8186, not necessarily with the speaker itself, but just installing it, and depending on where you were putting the speaker with the gasket, there was chances for water to ingress into the actual speaker itself. So this here is good enough where you mount it, and even if you want to give it a little pressure wash every now and then, the speaker should be remaining fully functional and giving you a weather-hardened speaker to work. In most environments, you'll need it. The Algo 8507 horn array speaker for areas that required over 140 decibel output is one of a few devices we've worked on for very, very loud environments. You can think airports, because a jet engine is going to hit that 140 dB range, manufacturing areas, and just trying to get as much sound as possible over as large an area as possible, say in a field or, baseball diamond. What this generally sees are the more rugged environments, though, so that is why you're going to see IP69 rated speakers on this as well. The 8450 IP console is not totally released yet, but we love talking about it. They say launching Q1. Just as a heads up, we might see some of this come out in April, just based off of manufacturing demand. So we'll see what happens, but this is a totally multicast IP display. Okay, this is one of the only ones like it. You see the boom mic, you see some buttons to press. So this console gives you two things. One, redundancy on your local network. So for example, the internet goes down. If your LAN is still running, this can send multicast over without the use of SIP. So this can still trigger your speakers, your alerts, your lockdowns, even in the case of internet going down itself, so long as your local network stays up. This is very easy to edit, add more things onto, and it has a series of functions based off the rest of our suite of products that you can take advantage of. So for lockdowns, all clear, it's just a regular page. Gooseneck or handheld versions are available. This is actually just a simple stand as well. You can order this in different versions, and that stand, if you look near the bottom just below the screen, that can also push down, so that is possible to put on a wall as well, although we do have different versions coming out to support your configuration. Great, thank you. So 2024, what we're looking to make happen with ADMP, right? This is new stuff coming out that's not all there yet. Full device configuration, so that's accessing a kind of a pseudo GUI to actually make changes on your devices remotely, not needing to be on the local network. Multi-tenant management, so if you're a larger company and you're looking to maybe manage or rent out spaces for clients to use ADMP and taking that on yourself, there's a lot of discussion on our end on how we're going to make that viable, but we're going to be discussing that more towards I think the end of the year. But if it's something you're interested in, we're always looking for people to try it out. And add modules for specific products like IP displays and different options. So right now it's going to be fairly basic, but then we're going to have different interfaces for different products to make sure you can maybe change your slides from ADMP in the future. That's bringing it over to your full device config as well. Just having those scheduled reports and downloads for your syslogs. Not much more to really say with ADMP. Algo has three things that really set it apart. The authorized integrator program, which I'm going to go over verbally now, design services, and just talking to our team on a personal level. When we talk about the authorized integrator program on algo.com, so that's Algo, let me make sure I say the website correctly for y'all. algosolutions.com/integrator, or just right on the front page, you'll see it. The integrator program allows you to receive Algo demo gear, gets you project design support, as well as exclusive content within the Algo authorized integrator portal that's up and coming. You get some one-on-one training sessions with us, and you also get the best practices to make sure that you're always doing right by the client and by yourself when we're putting in Algo products. There is a lot that still might be added to this program, but it's really simple to just send in a form, and then you're going to be contacted by a man named Jesse Fleming to get you those trainings booked, make sure that we're covering the right areas. And also, if we have work in your local area, if you're a good integrator, we want to make sure you can get that work and help bring more Algo to the market. And we hope to bring more to you as well. If we go to the next page, design services, that's what we're here for. We are solutions architects, and you're going to find another, maybe if anyone here's worked with Scott Farrell. We are here to help you with your projects, recommend layouts, paging solutions, and build your build of materials with you and the client. So we take in the information, we give back the absolute best configuration we can do with this, and even sending you straight to people that we work with internally for our distributor channels and helping, say, Microcom get the best pricing possible. We work with you and the customer to make sure that you're winning with Algo. We do not do the on-site visits for most jobs or design services, and it do require plans and room composition and ambient noise from your client as a result of that. We can't be everywhere. And this is about as busy as Algo has ever been. So when it comes down to getting projects from you, we want to see them. We love to see them. We just need to make sure we have the right information so that we give you the right information. And we're not at all scared to get in front of the client with you and make sure we have everything there. A lot of projects get turned around, and there's so much that we can do for you guys, and really, really appreciate having you here. I just want to open this up for now, a bit of Q&A if you guys have it, and see what you guys have to say as well. If you've seen our product and have something to say about it and taken the opportunity to discuss.
Thank you so much, Ben and Hassan. I'm jumping in. This is Julie. And yes, I've got some audience questions for you. And I'd like to say first off that I like that you mentioned in the beginning that everything is manufactured in the US. It's a common question, but you answered it right off the bat. So thank you for that. And you said something else.
Julie, one thing, they actually manufacture in Canada. So we ship to the South. It is all North America still.
Gotcha.
Vancouver, Burnaby. Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you for that clarification. Love it, love it, love it. And you said something else. It sounds like a slogan to me. You said winning with Algo. I love that. Anyway, guys, I've got some questions for you. Let's get started with the first one. If it applies, the question is, what role does artificial intelligence play in Algo Communications products?
Interesting question. As of right now, I don't believe AI plays any part in our products. Being a headless system, we allow ourselves to integrate with a wide majority of UC systems, but on top of that, we also work with a few different partners. For example, single wire InformaCast, you can get licenses for our speakers to work with it, Synapse, and we've recently introduced the RESTful API suite. So with that, you are able to program and do so many things, and so long as the technical know-how is on the other end of our system, it becomes a fantastic tool to driving your outcomes.
Thank you so much for that. And you know, with all this talk about AI, I'm not surprised someone asked, but thank you for clarifying. And in a way, I don't know how much AI is going to play in our industry. It'll be interesting to see, right?
Gotta get those waiter robots at the front door vetting everybody. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anyway, okay, folks, next question here is, are your communication products compatible with various devices and platforms?
Definitely. I think I did touch on that just in the last answer. So RESTful API suites, Synapse, single wire InformaCast, and we have so many different ways that we work. For example, a lot of our devices, especially the 8301, 8063, do GPIO relay input-output, and you can do a whole suite of things. For example, just pressing a button to trigger a relay to open a door, pressing a button to trigger a call to 911, your front office, and even the relays to work with different programs. For example, we've had situations where we've tapped into a bunch of Motorola, let's say, those walkie-talkies that teachers would walk with, and going through that, triggering another thing with a security company through a relay. Now, obviously, we're the in-between, and we give you the product that can help bridge these connections to other products and other services. Again, there's no head end. We don't need you to buy a server or hardware to just run our product. We just use the internet. But we have a lot of products at the same time that help to integrate and help to control the outcomes that you're looking to see in different places. And I hope that's a good enough answer for you.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, because it was a general question, and thank you so much for, getting a little specific on that. That definitely makes things very, very interesting and informative. So thank you. Let's see, I've got another question here for you. What kind of analytics and reporting capabilities do your communication solutions provide?
Analytics and reporting capabilities. Now that's interesting because we do have syslogs that'll tell you what's going on from the device itself, send, receive, okay, not okay, that kind of stuff. But a lot of what we do for our stuff is just monitoring at the moment. Is the device online? Was there an open or closed circuit? You can kind of determine what that is. What's it going to do if that's open or closed in certain situations? Are we going to get an email just to say, hey, this device went down over here? That's where we are right now. But I'd love to hear more about what kind of analytics you would be looking for. So if it's worth sending an email to me or Hassan, we'll bring it up with our team and see if that's something that's already on the roadmap or what else we can do with it.
Excellent, thank you. Because the audience member who provided this question, submitted it rather, perhaps if they see your names and email addresses up on the screen right now, if they want to follow up, certainly they're welcome to. Let's see, I've got 3 more questions here. Next one. How does Algo Communication approach data privacy and GDPR compliance?
I'll have to double check on GDPR compliance, and certain things I can say, certain things I need to ask others, okay? So just to answer, and the greatest way, once you buy our product, generally we don't do anything else with it. We have a server that you can go back to that it can read from for a technical like reboots of the device, but we don't monitor our devices. We have ADMP coming out, which has a really cool way of like downloading the file as soon as it's connected to ADMP, and then they use that to edit, and then they push a config back. So we're not really monitoring, but at the same time, I'm not the person who would best explain that. So if you'd like, I'd love to get you in touch with the right person, and please send me an email and we can help get that answer to you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for, approaching it the best you can, and we'll see if we need to follow up. Absolutely. Okay, 2 more questions. If someone wants to deploy multiple IP speakers to cover a large area, is it possible to create a zone?
I'm surprised I never said anything about that sooner. Multicast is the primary way of connecting with our speakers. So say, for example, we have an 8301, we use it as a transmitting device. It's also good for scheduling and bell schedules like Hassan had said. So all the other speakers on the network, that local network, so long as you're keeping them together on that subnet, you're able to easily say, this speaker is listening for zone 1, this speaker's listening for zone 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 50 zones over multicast. And when you're calling into that 8301, it's just a matter of maybe having it answer, have a wave file that says, hey, if you're looking for this for zone 1, press 1, 2, 3, 4, or you would have like a little sheet and people can just dial it in themselves. It can be more direct as well. As they call the device, it picks up, you're paging everything. But you can also multiple SIP register our devices. I think that's really important to say. You can have more than one number DID extension attached to these devices, and they could be for things like loud ringing or paging. You kind of pick and choose how you want that to react. And depending on what you need from our devices, that's what our jobs as solutions architects actually is to help you work on the problems that you and your clients might face and make sure they kind of fit the Algo spec of what we can do.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. 2 more questions. Okay, here we go. Where can a customer find the latest firmware for a firmware endpoint?
Ooh, actually, Hassan, would you be able to share your screen and go to the website? Because our website is very well optimized. We have a great marketing team who's worked really hard on making sure the resources for specific products. And if he doesn't switch here, I will. There it is. And they can make sure that all that you need is in a quick resources, downloads, firmware downloads. Yeah, click it and we'll see what comes up here.
Excellent.
Look at that.
Wow, fantastic. That's exactly the answer to the question. And yes, going to your website for anyone, and like you say, your marketing department has everything one may need. So that is fantastic.
I do want to piece on one more thing. Products 8188, if you can, Hassan. Because this is the next thing is accessories and things that belong with the product. What are we working with for SKUs? What is our product? So we scroll down a little bit, Hassan, and you'll see specifications, applications, ordering guides. Click ordering guides, and there you go. You can actually link directly to these products from our website as well, related to what you click.
Thank you so much. Very last question here. Can you guys talk about, and if you touched on this, if you don't mind touching on it again, can you talk about your product warranties?
Algo comes with a 1-year warranty, but they're rated to work with our speakers for the most part. They say that you can get like 20 to 50 years out of some of them. For certain things like the 8410, 8420, because they're LCD, you would generally see about a 10 to 15 year, I would guess, life on that. And that's something we've just recently been looking into as well. But let's just talk a quick bit about it. Not to say that it's the case for everyone, but things can happen. It's worth for customers to bring it to our team to determine, hey, was this something in the product itself, or was it, can they get a discount on another one? There's lots that does happen in the back end when people talk to us, and that's just support at algocommunications.com.
Excellent. Ben and Hassan, thank you guys so very much for your presentation today and answering all of those questions. And thank you to everyone for attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, of course, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown here today, please remember that this presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel, so we could all view it again, take in all this detailed information, so that we all are equipped and get all the information we need from Algo. You guys have a fantastic day. Thank you again, everybody. And until next time, I will reach out so we can do this again. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Absolutely. Bye-bye.